big up front. You know, they did a good job stopping the run last year versus us. Their size up front, athleticism up front, really aggressive. You know, they played Auburn really aggressive. I mean, in terms of the box count they were in, some of the run stunts they run, or some of the ones we run, and they're getting after it. You know, they're challenging you to do something outside of that. But I mean, they don't have to have that many. They can still stop it because they're physical up front. I mean, you just watch our game last year, and a lot of the same people are playing in both sides. And, I feel like Missouri's always been just massive and one of the most physical fronts we play against.
Somewhat related, Coach, it just going back and looking at that game, it seemed like you guys had some struggles interior on the offensive line, guard play in particular, maybe a couple of misreads. I'm sure it had something to do with that odd front, but just can you assess the play of your guards and interior play and whether that's going to be status quo this week in terms of who will be playing there?
Yep, we got the same guys up and always trying to clean up, just play better. You know, when you don't punt, it's hard to say you played poorly, but you got 500 yards offense. It's hard to say you played poorly, but I always want to play better. So there's not a guy out there. It's not guards. You can point the finger at the quarterback, the center, the guard, the tackle, the receivers. Everybody out there can play better, and we can coach better too as coaches.
Yeah, Kirby, we can talk to MJ Sherman a little bit. Just what did you see from him taking on more of a bigger role this year as he's kind of tried to work his way into that outside linebacker rotation?
Tremendous job, tremendous toughness, comes to work every day. You know, every time we do the academic report, they talk about how much better MJ's doing this semester, and really he had one bad semester when he first got here, and ever since then he's been on point with his academics. He's become a key cog in our special teams. He had some really big plays on kickoff Saturday, and he's a leader on the punt, block, and return team. So I'm just really proud of the maturity he's shown, and he's gotten a lot better as an outside linebacker too.
Yeah, Kirby, I think we all know what Del McGee brings to this team from a running back coach perspective, but as someone who has been with you since your first year here, how has he helped this program grow into what it has become?
Well, he's been very consistent. He's number one, a great recruiter. He's a great leader of men. He's a great husband. He's a great father. He's been tremendous in all aspects of having someone that has been a head coach before, and you can lean on him for input. He has a good pulse on the team. So all those things are critical to my success and critical to our team's success. And I think he's been a key cog in our success because a lot of players have really good relationships with Dale.
Kirby, when the offense has gotten into the red zone, hasn't been able to score, and you've had to kind of kick a field goal, Punt Leslie's been perfect to this point. Can you just kind of talk about what that reliability has meant to you, team?
Yeah, I tell you, he's been so consistent. You know, hate that we've had to kick as many as we have. That's been the Achilles heel for our offense. Is, you know, you may not punt, but you kick a lot of field goals, and that's not fun either. You know, it's fun for Pod, but it's not fun for the rest of us. And that's one of the areas that we've really targeted to get better at coming off of last year, and it's really great to have Pod. The reliability and the consistency that he's played with has been great. But you know, the hope is you don't have to rely on him all the time for that, but you score touchdowns.
Yeah, Kirby, following up on MJ again, you mentioned how much of a leader he is on special teams. How much has he kind of bought into that role, and is that something that has been hard for him to do over the course of his career, coming in with all the hype and accolades out of high school?
Been hard. How hard is it for him to buy into what, being special teams?
Yeah, just embracing that role.
Well, we all do that. I mean, it's not just him. I mean, there's not a player on our team, I don't think, besides the quarterbacks that aren't a feature of special teams, and even they hold. So that's culture. That's the players before him did the same thing. I mean, Nolan Smith starts on 2 units. So, I mean, there's guys out there that play on special teams and play positions, and he knows that he's still developing as an outside linebacker, and he's also got 2 guys in front of him that are pretty good. So as he gets more opportunities, he'll make the most of them, and he started to make more and more plays out there on the field.
Kirby, on the red zone touchdown percentage, what's your diagnosis there, and what do y'all need to do better?
It goes back a little bit to the run game. I think when the field tightens up and shrinks, that's where the run game is more glaring because the boxes, they're tighter to the box, and there's less people in the deep parts of the field. They're in your front yard, and you got to block them. You got to run through them, and some of them are just misses. You go back to the Sanford game where we struggled. There was a couple times we had guys open, we just missed them. So we got to do a better job. We've looked at it really hard. First down, run percentage, second down, run percentage, third down conversions in the red area are critical because it gets you a new set of downs. We've been there a lot, but we haven't converted as much as we need to. And, if it all had to boil down to one thing, I would say accuracy in the passing game and being effective running the ball into heavy boxes.
Coach Smart, we saw that Stetson started becoming the holder this season. What went into that decision?
He was the best one to hold, and he played baseball in high school, and the kicker wanted him. We don't have holder tryouts. We just get the best one, and felt like he was the best one to do it.
Coach, I'm sure you've got guys watching the weather a lot closer than we are. Is that affecting the travel plans at all of trying to get out to Missouri to start with, and perhaps your recruiting plans on Friday night?
We don't have many. I don't think we have anybody going out this Friday night recruiting, so it shouldn't affect that. And it's a good thing we didn't plan on it because most of these games are getting moved apparently to midweek. A lot of tonight, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. But we weren't really sending anybody out, so that didn't affect us. And then, as far as I know, the last update I had was that we were still going to be comfortable getting out of here. There is a concern that we would have to fly out of Atlanta like we used to, and we would have to leave earlier if the planes can't get into Athens. But as of right now, it looks like we're going to be able to get out of Athens.
Getting back to Jack, when he started, he had to follow a legend, a kicker. How do you think now that he's a senior, he's done embracing that role and the pressure that he was able to overcome, having to follow Hot Rod?
Well, he handled it with class and really just like ownership. It hasn't phased him. He got to watch Hot Rod and see his routine, and I think Pod has his own routine in his own right, and he follows that. And psychologically, he's really strong. He doesn't let a lot affect him, and a lot of times, kickers can get into their own head, and he hasn't been one phased by that. He lets things go, and when he gets his one shot, he goes for the kill, and if he doesn't make it, he goes for the next one.
Kirby, we've seen a little bit of tearing among the defensive linemen just through these first few games. What have you taken from how he's played and the role he kind of plays with those guys?
He's done a good job. He's gotten more physical. He's gotten more aggressive. He's practicing better. He's stronger from the weight room. He's getting better with each game. He's gaining more confidence. But I'm proud of the toughness he's shown, and he's growing up.
Yeah, Kirby, with the success you guys have had in recruiting and developing tight ends of late, has that changed what you sort of look for out of your receivers that you recruit in terms of attributes or traits to sort of complement them and bring things to this offense that the tight ends are also giving you?
No. You recruit receivers independent of tight ends. Certainly the skill set of tight ends we recruit has changed because we want guys that can do – we want tight ends to complement each other. We want wide receivers to complement each other. We're not really looking across wide receiver and tight end as far as the complement. We'd like to have that done within its room. If we're heavy with one type of tight end, we might need a different kind of receiver. But when you have 10, 11, 12 scholarship receivers, you need a variety there. You need guys that can play inside, guys that can play outside, vertical threats, physical threats, matchup threats. You need it all. And that's hard across the board. I don't think anybody in the country can tell you they got a full stable of receivers, because if they do, they're looking to go somewhere else, I can promise you. So every receiver is looking for an opportunity to touch the ball, and it's hard to have enough receivers.
Hey, Coach, just ask again how much AD and Aaron have been able to practice so far this week and anticipating making the trip to Columbia?
Arian more than AD, but still hopeful on both.
Any questions?
Thanks.
All right, thank you.